If you have 2 sheet pans, you have all you need to make this bitchin' baked salmon. Hi, I'm Tara the Foodie, and I take the mystery out of cooking for you. In today's episode, I'm gonna show you how to make a baked garlic dill salmon paired with some roasted sweet potatoes and broccoli. You will not believe how delicious and easy this is. Are you ready? I am. Let's get cooking. Babe.
Wow, look at those. We needed them.
I know. Oh my gosh, did we need them?
Maybe we should show the audience what we've been using in this kitchen.
Well, they know if they watch us. They've seen our janky, ratchety sheet pans. I'm gonna grab our amazing sheet pan out of the oven here. This is what we're usually working with, and I think most of you probably are working with something like this too. This is just what happens when you actually use your sheet pans, right? And this is after Juicy Joe really worked hard to try and clean the bottom of this. In today's episode, I've got a pro tip for you. Since this is a sheet pan dinner video, we wanted it to be a little bit of a nicer sheet pan for you. So we got a couple of sheet pans, and I'll go into what we're gonna do to these here in a second. I'm gonna show you how to preserve your sheet pans and also make them non-stick. So we picked up, or Juicy Joe actually picked up 2 new sheet pans today. This is what it looks like when you first get it. Made in the USA, very nice. Little plug to Nordic wear, nice job. And we also picked up a couple of baking mats, silicone baking mats. I completely 100% suggest you grab these, and I will put some on my Shop My Favorite Things link so that you can click on it and get some for yourself. This is what it looks like when you have it on your sheet pan. And this particular one is OXO, so it's super bright and red and everything, and just beautiful. Probably looks really good on video. But what this does is it obviously helps to save your sheet pan and keep it as clean as possible. You can bake on it, you can roast on it. It will allow your food to still brown, but it's not gonna stick. One tip that I need to keep reminding myself of is when you make pizza on these, which I do as well, sheet pan pizzas, and I'll put a link to the sheet pan pizza. I think it was a barbecue chicken pizza, but after it comes out of the oven, I'll cut it on this, and then it ends up cutting my mat. And I have done it so many times, so just take it off onto your cutting board and then cut your pizza. So anyway, this is what we're gonna be using today to make our salmon. So remember, I have a website, tarathefoodie.com. You can find all of my recipes. You can find a link to our merchandise if you'd like to grab a yoga tank top. And also, you can print every one of those recipes that you find on there. I'm actually following my own recipe right now. Normally, you would see a picture of the recipe here, but I haven't made it yet. So I haven't taken the picture. Well, Juicy Joe hasn't taken the picture yet. So you can print your recipes out and just follow along with them, just like I am in this video today. And it is telling me to put the oven on 425 degrees, which I am going to do right now. All right, make sure nothing's in there.
Pro tip.
Yeah. If you keep a bunch of shit in your oven, just like we do, make sure you take that out first. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is start with your sweet potatoes, AKA yams. I grabbed 4 large ones because I want to make sure that I have enough for our whole family, and nothing bothers me more than not having enough. What I'm going to do first is peel all of these sweet potatoes. When I'm finished doing that, I will show you how to cut these to make sure that they cook evenly and they won't take too long. All right, so I've peeled my sweet potatoes, and so now we're going to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. So I'm gonna start by cutting this sweet potato in half, and sweet potatoes are hard to cut. So just be careful, oh my God. Like really careful. Ooh, as you can see, I'm holding my hand on the top there so that I'm not gonna cut myself, but they're tough to get through when they're raw. So keep that in mind when you're cutting them. Make sure that your knife is very sharp. Once I've cut the sweet potato, I always want to put the sweet potato down on the flat side. Now you've got a lot of stability because it is hard to kind of get through them. So now I'm going to cut in the middle again. So I'm just gonna kind of cut it on, I don't know, like that. So, and we can even cut these in half so they're not too big. But this is kind of the thickness I'm talking about. Like this part here, about like that or so. So I'm gonna go through and cut all of these sweet potatoes into wedge size pieces. Now what you want to do is grab some good extra virgin olive oil and drizzle it all over your sweet potatoes.
Tell the audience slowly.
Slowly, if you have a cameraman that likes to get that deliciously sexy shot. Next, you want to take salt and pepper and sprinkle it all over your sweet potatoes. And then just take your hands and toss the sweet potatoes together with the seasonings. Good extra virgin olive oil just has that grassy kind of smell that, oh, it's so good. And you know how good it would be if you drizzled it on top of a piece of bread and then put some sea salt on top. And oh God, I'm sorry. I'm on low carb. Sometimes I miss it.
I miss it every day.
Sweet potatoes, another fun fact, is that they are lower in carbs than regular potatoes. So we actually get to have some of these. So I have them back into one layer on the pan. They've been nice and tossed and coated with the olive oil, salt, and pepper. And now I'm gonna put them into the 425-degree oven for 10 minutes to get these started cooking while I prepare the broccoli and the salmon. The next thing we are gonna do while the sweet potatoes are baking in the oven is get our salmon ready. So as you can see, I've got my salmon here, and they are some huge fillets, but that's kind of what they look like sometimes when you get them from your fish person. So we are going to cut these into single serving fillet size. So just try and cut them evenly. Make sure you get all the way through that skin. It's pretty tough. Also, check for bones, because sometimes you'll find bones in your salmon. What I like to do is just sort of take my finger and just rub all over the fish. You will feel them. So I'm gonna cut this one in half as well. The first thing you wanna do before you put the salmon on your sheet pan is, for this sheet pan, we're gonna go ahead and spray it with a cooking spray, and I'm gonna use avocado spray. So just a light coating on the bottom. And then we'll place our salmon fillets on our sheet pan. They are looking beautiful. All right, so it's been 10 minutes. We'll go ahead and remove this from the oven. And just place it aside while you finish getting your salmon and your broccoli ready. Okay. And then hit it with some pepper. Flavor that salmon. Now we're going to hit it with the garlic, and you know I love my garlic press, so grab your garlic press or just mince up about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. You want enough to be able to rub on top of these salmon fillets. So I'm gonna just go clove by clove, pressing this garlic onto the salmon, and it'll kind of let me know how much I need as I go. And just kind of spread it around on your salmon fillets. And just keep going until you have all of your salmon fillets spread with garlic. After you've got your garlic slathered all over your salmon fillets, you want to sprinkle them with dill weed. I don't have a top on mine, so I'm just gonna put some in my hand and then sprinkle it onto the salmon. It smells so good. You just wanna kind of dust it, but you know maybe how much you wanna put on yours. And then, this is where it makes everything good, is you take a half tablespoon size pat of butter and just put it on top of each thick part of your salmon. If pretty much the whole thing's thick, just kind of put it there in the middle. Get a nice pat of butter on top of each one. What can be bad about that? So these are ready to go, but what we need to do now is get our broccoli ready, and then we can put everything back in the oven. Get yourself a couple of huge crowns of broccoli. Or florets. Basically, you just want the florets. So the first thing I'm gonna do, because I got the big crowns, is cut off the end of both. And then you just wanna cut these into florets. And you can just kind of follow, just kind of release them from the crown.
Kind of like trimming branches off a tree.
Yeah, exactly. I used to call these trees when I was a kid, when I would eat them. I'd say I will eat the tree part of the broccoli only. And then you want to grab your florets and place them into a bowl. In this bowl, and we're just going to drizzle olive oil onto the broccoli, just like we did with the sweet potatoes. You don't need much, because you already have some on the sweet potatoes as well. And then just hit it with salt and pepper. And then you guessed it, take your hands and toss it up. Now I'm going to take these over to the sheet pan with the sweet potatoes already on here. Now we're just going to lay the broccoli on top. And I think we won't need all of this broccoli, so I will put this aside for another meal. So we are now ready to put both sheet pans back in the oven to finish cooking this sheet pan salmon dinner.
Bitchin'.
Bitchin' baked salmon.
Bitchin' baked salmon.
And now we just close this oven and let it do all the work. Oh, and leave it in there for about 12 minutes or until the sweet potatoes are tender and the salmon is flaky. Okay, it is time to get everything out of the oven. Ooh, look at this. It's your whole dinner right here in the oven, ready to go. And here we have baked garlic dill salmon with sweet potatoes and broccoli. It's hard to tell you how long to keep things like this in the oven. You want to start checking the fish at 12 minutes. I ended up putting it back in for about 5 more minutes. You just want to make sure that the fish is easy to flake, and then the sweet potatoes and the broccoli, you can see that the broccoli got a lot of good color on top. The sweet potatoes are fork tender now. You can see all the little holes. I was hitting it with the fork to make sure. Now, if you like more color on your sweet potatoes or on your broccoli, it's up to you how long you keep it in the oven. After the initial 10 minutes, I ended up keeping the sweet potatoes and the broccoli in for like another 20 minutes. You kind of have to eyeball it and make sure that everything is cooked through and the way that you like it. And now it is time for me to plate this up and take a taste. And here is the final plated, lovely salmon dinner. It's just beautiful. This is a healthy dinner. It is an easy dinner, and this is gonna be delicious. I can already tell, and I might have tasted the sweet potatoes already. I can smell the butter and the garlic, the dill. I cannot wait to take a taste of this salmon because it's my favorite time of every video, time to taste. Oh, all right, I'm going in first for a taste of this salmon. I'm just gonna go right in here. Flake it apart. It's lovely, delicious salmon. Melts in your mouth. I barely had to chew. Baking your salmon, I had no idea, was the most perfect way to make salmon. It's just so delicious, perfectly seasoned and perfectly cooked, and it is easy. You can throw everything in your oven and get everything ready for dinner, pop it out, and you are ready to go with just an amazing dinner for your family. I'm gonna have the broccoli and the sweet potato at the same time, because I know that's how I would eat it normally. The sweet potato is nice and tender, and then you've got a nice color on your roasted broccoli. The two textures with each other, that's something that I love and that I've talked about before. You've got the softness of the sweet potato, and that always has such a lovely, I don't know, like fall flavor, really, you know? It's got the sweetness, kind of a roasty flavor. And then when you make broccoli this way, it just takes it to another level. It caramelizes the sugars within the vegetable and brings out the flavor of the actual broccoli. It's not just kind of steamed and boring, you know, how broccoli can be sometimes. This dinner all together, such a wonderful combination. And again, a wonderfully healthy meal as well as just full of flavor. I think you should make it immediately. It's amazing. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me once again while I made this bitchin' baked salmon. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and click the notification bell below so that you never miss one of my videos. I'm Tara the Foodie, taking the mystery out of cooking for you, and I will see you next time.
Now that I take this fork over here. There's like forking things that I want to put in my mouth.
Isn't it good?
Oh yeah.
If you have 2 sheet pans, you have all you need to make this bitchin' baked salmon. Could do voiceovers.
Yeah.
You guys love this B-roll camera.
B-roll.
B-roll.
Let's see what makes it in the outtakes.
Yeah.
This episode.
Come for the video, stay for the outtakes.
At least.
Ooh. You know I have to sniff it.
You have to
Barely
sniff
has
it.
a smell.
You have to sniff it.
I like to sniff new things. You'd think that a silicone mat would have more of a smell, but it doesn't.
Looking fabulous, baby. Looking fabulous.
Thank you, baby.